Hello, dear students. Hope you all are safe and fine and very eager to study today's lesson. Today, we shall study Lesson 7 of Science, that is, Weather, Climate, and Adaptations of Animals to Climate for Class 7th. But before we begin with our lesson, I would like to ask you some questions and you try to answer these questions. The first question is, have you heard elders in your family discussing about the weather before planning a family function? Yes, whenever a function is planned in the family, it is always kept in mind that it should not be a rainy day and also that it should not be very hot on the day of function. My next question. Children, can you tell me in which month of the year rainy season occurs? Yes, you have given an absolutely correct answer. The rainy season remains from July to August in India. My next question. Now tell me, children, does the weather remain same throughout the year? You would answer no, because the weather keeps on changing constantly. Now the question arises that do you know what exactly weather is? And do you know what is the difference between weather and climate? Have you heard about weather predictions? So, in our today's lesson, we are going to discuss all these topics in detail. Today we will learn about weather and climate. In addition to this, we will study about climate and adaptations. And then we will discuss about the polar regions and the tropical rainforests. Let us first of all try to understand what is weather. Children, clear sky and a sunny day makes us all feel happy. When it is very hot, then the mere sight of clouds in the sky provides a great relief to all of us. Many of our daily activities are planned based on the weather predicted for that day. That is why, considering the significance of weather, televisions, radio, and newspapers provide us with a daily weather report. Children, you must have seen that sometimes it is sunny in the morning, but suddenly clouds appear from nowhere and it starts raining heavily, or a heavy rain may vanish in a matter of minutes and give way to bright sunshine. The weather is such a complex phenomena that it can vary over very short periods. Children, consider this data given by the meteorological department. According to this, on 31st August, the maximum temperature was 30 degrees Celsius and minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius, while on 1st September, the maximum temperature was 34 degrees Celsius and the minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius. Children, did you notice one thing in this data? That there is a difference in the readings of maximum and minimum temperatures for both the days. In the same way, if we talk about the amount of humidity, it is 60% on 31st August while it is 74% on 1st September. Further, There was no rain on 31st August and 1 millimeter of rain was recorded on 1st September. Children, if you remember, we have studied earlier that to measure the maximum and minimum temperatures of a day, a special kind of thermometer is used, and this thermometer is called maximum and minimum thermometer. Do you know that maximum temperature of the day is generally recorded in the afternoon, while minimum temperature is recorded in the early mornings? So, now you understand why in summers we feel so miserable in the afternoons and comparatively comfortable in the early mornings. Just now we talked about rainfall. Rainfall is measured by an instrument called the rain gauge. It is basically a measuring cylinder with a funnel on top to collect the rain. So, children, with our discussion, we can conclude that temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, etc. are called the elements of weather, and the day-to-day condition of the atmosphere at a place with respect to these elements is called the weather of that place. Weather is a complex phenomena that can vary over very short periods of time. Do you know what causes such weather changes? All these changes in the weather are caused by the sun. Energy absorbed and reflected by the Earth's surface, oceans, and the atmosphere also plays an important role in determining the weather of a place. At the same time, the rotation of the Earth on its axis and the greenhouse effect also help to determine the weather of a place. After studying about the weather in detail, let us now study what is climate and how does it vary from the weather of a place. Children, the average weather pattern taken over a long time, say about 25 years, for a place is called the climate of that place. For example, if the temperature at a place is high most of the time, then we can say that the climate of that place is hot. If there is also heavy rainfall on most of the days at the same place, then we can say that the climate of that place is hot and wet. The climatic condition of any place is estimated based on the calculation of average mean temperature of every month for that place. This calculation is done in two steps. First, we find the average of the temperatures recorded during the month. Second, we calculate the average of such average temperatures over many years. This gives mean temperature, which helps to estimate the climate of that place. Like in the western regions of India, for example, Rajasthan, the temperature is high during most of the year. But during winter, which lasts only for a few months, the temperature is quite low. This region receives very little rainfall. So, we can say that areas like Rajasthan have a typical desert climate, hot and dry. The northeastern India receives rain for a major part of the year. Therefore, we can say that the climate of the northeast is wet. Children, now is the time to study about climate and adaptations. Climate has a profound effect on all living organisms. Animals are adapted to survive in the conditions in which they live. To see and study in detail the examples of adaptations in animals, we will study here about regions with extreme climatic conditions. They are polar regions and the tropical rainforests. First of all, let us discuss the polar regions. Children, do you know what are polar regions? As the name suggests, they are the regions present near the poles. Some well-known countries that belong to the polar regions are Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Alaska, etc. Some of the countries where the tropical rainforests are found are India, Malaysia, Brazil, Kenya, etc. The polar regions experience an extreme climate. These regions are covered with snow and it is very cold for most part of the year. For 6 months, the sun does not set at these places, while for the other 6 months, the sun does not rise. In winters, the temperature here can be as low as -37 degrees Celsius, and you cannot even imagine how cold it is at this temperature. Children, now let me tell you about two animals which are adapted to live in such a cold climate. They are polar bears and penguins. Let us discuss in detail how these animals are adapted to live in polar regions. Polar bears have their entire body covered with white fur so that they are not easily visible in the snowy white background. It protects them from their predators. This also helps them in catching their prey. Then they have long, curved and sharp claws which help them to walk on ice. They have a layer of fat under their skin. The fat insulates their body from cold and keeps them warm. They have a very strong sense of smell. And do you know, children, this helps the bear to locate and catch its prey easily. Polar bears are good swimmers. They have wide and large paws which help them to swim. Now, let us look at the penguins and see how they are adapted to live in polar regions. Penguin is also white and merges well with the white snowy background. It also has a thick skin and a lot of fat to protect it from cold. You may have seen the pictures of penguins huddled together. This they do to keep themselves warm. Just like polar bears, penguins are also good swimmers. Their bodies are streamlined and their feet have webs making them good swimmers. Other animals living in the polar regions are many types of fish, musk oxen, reindeers, foxes, seals, whales, and birds. Children, you must have heard about Siberian cranes. They come all the way from Siberia to places like Bharatpur in Rajasthan and Sultanpur in Haryana during winters. They are migratory birds and migrate to warmer regions during winters. They come back home, that is, to their original destinations once the winter is over. It is very surprising to know that migratory birds travel as much as 15,000 kilometers to escape the extreme climatic conditions at home. Generally, they fly very high where the wind flow helps them to fly, and the cold conditions allow them to disperse the heat generated by their flight muscles. But one thing which surprises us all and is still a mystery is that how these birds travel to the same place year after year. Probably these birds use some landmarks which guide them. Then there are also some evidences that these birds perhaps use the magnetic field of the earth to find the directions. Children, now we will study about the tropical rainforest. The tropical region has generally a hot climate because of its location around the equator. Even in the coldest month, the temperature is generally higher than about 15 degrees Celsius, and during summers the temperature may even cross 40 degrees Celsius. Days and nights are almost equal in length throughout the year. These regions get plenty of rainfall. Because of continuous warmth and rain, this region has wide variety of plants and animals. Let us now read about the adaptations of animals to hot and humid climate found in tropical rainforests. In this region, many animals are adapted to live on the trees. Red-eyed frog has sticky pads on its feet which help it to climb trees on which it lives. To help them live on the trees, monkeys have long tails for grasping branches. Their hands and feet are such that they can easily hold on to the branches. Toucan bird has a long, large beak. This helps a toucan to reach the fruits on the branches, which are otherwise too weak to support its weight. Many tropical animals have sensitive hearing, sharp eyesight, thick skin, and a skin color which helps them to camouflage by blending with the surroundings. This is to protect them from predators. For example, big cats like lions and the tigers have thick skins and sensitive hearing. Another well-known animal of Indian tropical rainforest is the elephant. Children, look at its trunk carefully. An elephant uses its trunk as a nose. Because of a long trunk, it has a strong sense of smell. An elephant also uses its trunk for picking up food. With the help of its tusks, which are the modified teeth, an elephant can tear the bark of trees, which it loves to eat. Large ears of the elephant help it to hear even very soft sounds. They also help the elephant to keep cool. So, in this way, because of all these features, an elephant is well adapted to live in the hot and humid climatic conditions of the rainforest. Children, now is the time to revise whatever we have learned in this chapter. Today, we have learned that the day-to-day condition of the atmosphere at a place with respect to temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, etc. is called the weather of that place. The maximum temperature of the day generally occurs in the afternoon, while the minimum temperature occurs in the early morning. The average weather pattern taken over a long time, say 25 years, is called climate of the place. The tropical rainforests and the polar regions are the two regions of the earth which have severe climatic conditions. The polar regions are very cold throughout the year. The sun does not set for 6 months in a year, and in the other 6 months it does not rise. Penguins and polar bears are the two animals which are adapted to live in polar regions. The tropical rainforests generally have hot and humid climatic conditions. Some animals adapted to live in rainforests are red-eyed frog, monkeys, lion, elephant, fox, etc. Children, now I will ask you some questions from your chapter, and I hope you will be able to answer them all correctly. First of all, you have to fill in the blanks in the given spaces. The first question: the weather pattern taken over a long period is called dash of the place. Fill the correct answer in the blank space provided to you. And the correct answer is climate. The weather pattern taken over a long period is called climate of that place. Next question, it is again in the form of a fill in the blank. Dash and dash are the two regions of the earth with severe climatic conditions. And you have to fill in the blanks. The correct answer is polar region and the tropical rainforest. The next question: name the elements which determine weather of a place. Listen carefully, children. The question is, name the elements which determine weather of a place. And the correct answer is, the elements are temperature, rainfall, wind speed and humidity. In the next question, you are given a list of some of the characteristics of animals, and you just have to identify whether the animal is adapted to live in polar regions or in tropical rainforest. So, the first characteristic is diets heavy on fruits. Yes, children, the first characteristic is diets heavy on fruits, and you have to identify where do such animals live, in the polar regions or in the tropical rainforest. So I give you a hint here that fruits are found on the trees and the animals which live on trees are found in tropical rainforest. Yes, you are absolutely correct. Such animals, they live on tropical rainforest. Next is white hair and fur. Yes, once again you have given the correct answer. They will be adapted to live in polar regions. The next one is sticky pads on feet. The correct answer is such animals are adapted to live in tropical rainforest, such as red-eyed frog. The next example is layer of fat under the skin. And the correct answer is in the polar regions. Yes, because this fat layer will protect them from excessive cold. The next option is strong tail. Yes, you all know this answer because all of you have seen the monkeys. Yes, they live in the tropical rainforest. And the last one is long and large beak. Such animals are adapted to live in the tropical rainforest. So with this we come to the end of our today's lesson, that is weather, climate and adaptations of animals to climate. Hope children you enjoyed learning this lesson with me. We will soon meet again with the next lesson. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.